Welcome to F.O.D. Overdrive, everybody, the podcast that keeps you up on your Friday nights. We're a three-man team that also has a weekly conservative terrestrial program from 3 to 5 p.m. on Sundays, heard on 94.9 News Now. That's WJJF in Connecticut, Long Island, and Rhode Island. Our show is called Freedom on Deck. To live stream the station and listen to our program, go to freedomondeck.com and click Listen Live, or listen to all of our back shows on Freedom on Deck and FOD Overdrive on the site. And you can also get daily updated news there. Contributors from Chet Martin, that's me, Lee Elsey from the Lee Elsey Show, Julio Rivera from the Reactionary Times, and Alex Newman from the New American. Like I said, I'm Chet Martin. I'm joined by C.V. Burton, and Brian Bro is not with us. He is mending himself right now. C.V., it's great to be with you on this Friday night.
Good evening, my Patriot brother, and all our Patriot brothers and sisters out there.
I just have one thing to say to you. Okay?
Okay.
You ready?
I'm laughing already. I don't know what it is.
I'm smart. I can do things. Not like everybody says, like dumb. I'm smart and I want respect.
I'm smart.
The son of the Shwashim.
The son of the Svashim will be known as
Fredo.
Fredo.
He is Fredo.
Some pronounce it Fredo, some pronounce it Fredo.
The whole thing that happened with this Fredo situation actually happened in Shelter Island, not far away from me. And it's amazing because they pulled up, actually it was a old audio that he did on the radio, and I'm drawing a blank on what show it was with. Oh, it was with Curtis Silva.
Oh, yeah,
and
right.
they were kind of bouncing around the idea that the Cuomos were the Godfather family, and he said, well, just call me Fredo.
Yeah.
So he referred to himself as Fredo years ago.
Yeah, that's sort of like me. Like, I can make fun of myself, and I call myself names, and, you know, I'm into depreciating humor. Is that the way you say it? I don't know. But when somebody else calls
self-deprecation.
But when somebody else, self-deprecation, right? When somebody else calls me a name similar to what I call myself, then I get mad. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, but, you know, he goes, oh, it's like calling a black person the N-word. I mean, stop.
Oh, please, cut it out.
It is not. It is not. We know the slanders for Italians, and it's not Fredo. Half my family's Italian, so
right.
sit down, Mr. Cuomo.
Yeah,
relax.
I'm 25% Italian, and that's why I call his brother Andrew the Svashim.
Well, listen, let's get into the topics now because we've got unlimited time, but let's get everybody on their way on their Friday night. I'm sure they have things to do besides listen to Freedom on Deck, FOD Overdrive, but a lot's happening in the Epstein case, CV, and it's clouding the narrative of a fake suicide. The timeline isn't adding up to no foul play. We've gone over the fact that it was initially reported to have that he tried to off himself on the night of the blackout in New York. Then there were reports that Epstein told the guards that someone tried to kill him. He'd been sharing his cell with a former police officer that was doing time for a double homicide, big guy. This individual was removed from his cell. Last weekend, he's found dead with no video to back up the suicide claims. Information released that 3 security guards were asleep for over 2 hours when they were supposed to be checking up on Epstein. Also reports of screeching and screaming in Epstein's cell. I'm saying Epstein, I go back and forth. Yeah. Before, I call him Epstone. He's dead as a stone. His cell before his body was discovered. Now reports of his neck injuries that are more consistent with foul play, murder, the axe, you name it. They're over there, the FBI is, looking into the island. There are some unsubstantiated reports that they're finding bones of children in the waters off the coast of Epstein's Island, which is located close to the Bahamas, which they ripped down that satanic temple that had multiple floors in it, and you've talked about that before.
Right.
Right now, what's happening here and what I'm concerned with is a cover-up. I think what they're going to do in that island is they're going to sweep all this information out of the way. They're going to get rid of any kind of information that it was left behind there. Any type of DNA forensic evidence will be just wiped off the face of the earth. Why do I say that? Well, I can go to multiple cases from the last few years. Let's talk about Las Vegas. Las Vegas, the biggest mass shooting in American history. Nobody talks about it. They say they don't know why the shooter did what he did.
Yeah.
They're not sure how he put 2 bullet wounds in the back of his head, and that there was nobody else involved. Move along. Then we had the 2 facilities, one in Alabama, one in New Mexico, that were terrorist training grounds for children. Both of them were destroyed by the FBI. The facilities were destroyed by the same FBI that we're entrusting with Epstein's Island right now.
Right.
I think what's going on here is a big cover-up. Now, people say that AG Barr is going to get down to the bottom of this. Let me remind you folks of one thing, and I'm not slandering AG Barr here, even though I don't trust him. He has been part of the Washington elites his entire life. And if you think he doesn't know people on that list, you are naive. So what's going to happen here now is, and it's not going to be anything to do with the Trump administration, but there's going to be a cover-up. It's called the Deep State, and they still have their claws entrenched in this government and our agencies, CV.
Well, don't forget the FBI as an arm of the deep state and of Barack Obama exonerated Hillary Clinton when the evidence was stacked against her, and said they spied on Trump for 3 years trying to find dirt on him, and then at the end of it they couldn't exonerate him even when there wasn't any crime. So we already know their bias. And, the Clintons are involved with Epstein. So, yeah, of course they want to protect Clinton still to this day. And another thing about the cover-up, the warden in that jail had to know that Epstein was a serious murder victim risk. Him and his entire staff had to know. So for
it was a woman, and you heard that the warden was shipped off, right?
Yeah. Barr moved him out of there and put others on leave. But
why?
But the point I was making is for the staff and the warden to look the other way so completely thoroughly, they had to be complicit.
Oh yeah. They
That's all.
slept for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Slept.
Why would they have a guy in his jail cell in the previous incident who was a murderer?
You figure it out.
That makes no sense if you know that Epstein is not just a suicide risk, but a risk of being murdered. Everybody knows that. You have to be a complete imbecile to miss that point.
His black book came out, and some of the names in his black book, and that doesn't mean that everybody in the black book is tied up in the sex island, but I just want to name a few names that are here through Gawker. Alec Baldwin, which I would assume is involved. I'm sorry, he just smells of it. Yeah. Ralph Fiennes, Griffin Dunn, New York Post gossip, Richard Johnson, Ted Kennedy, you figure that one out, yeah. David Koch, filmmaker Andrew Jericho, and Chris Tucker.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a lot of folks in here. Dershowitz.
The Prince in England.
Prince Andrew, many members of Parliament. Also, Alan Dershowitz is on the flight log 7 times.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton's on it 27 times. And we've talked about this on the show, CV.
And that's only the times that he actually filled out the log.
Right, and there were other times he put other names in, and then during and this is not fake news. This was reported in The Hill, Fox News, and Breitbart, and even some of the left-leaning sites. Even CBS reported that Bill Clinton went on those flights without Secret Service detail, and that there were underage girls on those flights. Yeah. Now all of a sudden they go to Epstein's island, they go to Epstein's mansion rather, they raid it, after he's dead, and they find this painting of Bill Clinton in a blue dress. How creepy was that thing?
Bill Clinton in drag. That's a I can't unsee that.
It's sick.
It's twisted.
It's twisted, and a lot of people laughed about it, but I'm like, it's really not funny because there's a lot of like a sadomastic kind of undertone to that painting because it represented Bill Clinton in the dress that Monica wore that he blew his load on.
Oh, you know what? It's that painting is to send a message, and what he's saying is, if anything happens to me legally, you're going down with me. So
something like that.
I better not get arrested or tried or even accused, because if anything happens to me, you are all going down, and that's why he's dead today.
You see the painting that we're talking about, and hopefully you can post it up for the people to look at.
Okay.
In the painting, Bill Clinton is pointing towards whoever's looking towards him.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Because the painting, I think, is meant to send a message to Bill Clinton and the whole Clinton cabal. And actually, the painting itself is pointing at them. He's like, look, I have the dirt on you, and I have the dirt on you, and it's pointing at you. That's what it is. It's a message.
It makes sense. It does. And like I said, a lot of people laughed about it, but I was like, man, I don't find it funny.
Yeah. Like Wiener. What's his name? The guy with the laptop?
Anthony
Weiner.
Anthony Wing Wong.
He had a folder in his laptop called insurance policy, and inside that folder was all the dirt on Hillary and Huma, and there's videos and there's all kinds of dirt stuff in there that reportedly made police officers cry. Can you imagine the hard life that police officers have and all the crazy stuff they've seen on the street as police officers, that they would see that and cry? That just gives you the idea of just how disgusting and sick those files were.
The reports are coming out of the New York police departments that, what happens in New York is controlled by the Cuomos. It's controlled by the Clintons. Mm-hmm. Don't forget, they have a lot of power in New York. Mm-hmm. And it's controlled by the Democrat Party.
Absolutely.
So you're never going to find anything out about this. I mean, it was so obvious when he was arrested that they were going to kill him.
Yeah.
We all said it.
Mm-hmm.
We all said it. We all said he's going to die. They're going to suicide him. Remember?
Yep. Oh, yeah. We said that the first day he was arrested. Everybody said that. I mean, I wasn't.
Everybody did.
I'm not saying, I'm so prophetic that I could say. I mean, a baby can see that coming. But,
it was almost said in a joking manner by some people, but it's amazing. Now, you know what's interesting, CV? Yeah. Now even some of the liberals are like, oh, wow, there is something to this.
Yeah. Excuse me for getting esoteric a little bit here, but, the collectivists, socialists are collectivists. They're multiple peoples, multiple organizations, but they all think with one mind, and they all repeat the same talking points. They all have one spirit, and that spirit is Satan, in my opinion.
Yeah. And that's why they're always able to control the narrative.
Yeah.
It's like conservatives and Republicans are always, bitch slapping each other.
Yeah.
We got a big tent.
Yeah.
I know. And it's like, enough. Let's protect each other a little more.
Yeah.
I'm getting sick and tired of it. One thing that I've expressed concern over are the red flag laws, but I've also said Trump won't do it.
Yeah.
Now, I got into it with one of our friends, I'm not going to mention any names, over the fact that now he's saying, oh my God, did you see what Trump tweeted? He tweeted a joke about the fact that Cuomo shouldn't be able to get a weapon. This is a dangerous joke. Is he thinking about the red flag laws? And I'm like, you're overanalyzing this. Come on. Let's be serious here. Trump can't. Trump's not going to go forward with red flag laws. He would lose his backing of the NRA. That would destroy his campaign. There's no way.
Well,
I'm just saying, let's have a little more, confidence in the commander-in-chief.
Trump has always been said to be so brutally honest to a fault, but he's also a great negotiator. And so sometimes when he's in a negotiation, he'll float things out there, in order to gain some kind of leverage. He's mentioned the red flag laws before with that Florida shooting, but nothing ever came of it.
No,
it's sort of. I'm not saying he's dishonest. I'm saying he's bluffing. He's a little bit bluffing there. In the face of Mexicans being shot and him being blamed for it, of course he's going to come out and say, we'll toughen the laws a little bit, but I don't really think he's going to do anything. Also, if there are laws passed that are like red flag laws based on people's mental capacity to harm other people, read it carefully. Don't just have a knee-jerk reaction. Read it carefully, because his amnesty plan was based on merit, and nobody got the merit part. Not even Andrea Kaye and a lot of other people on the right. They just said, he's going for amnesty. No, but they have to be law-abiding for 10 years. They have to be on no public assistance for 10 years, and so on and so forth. And
no red flag laws, man. Listen, the same people that call us psychotic and say that we're racist are going to be the people that are making these laws.
No, we already have red flag laws, though.
I know that. That's the point. So let's not go forward with any more. Let's start enforcing the laws that are on the books.
Right. But
we got this one guy shooting the police up in Philadelphia. They're trying to make it another. Oh my God, he had a military grade weapon. Half the stuff he was shooting were handguns, and he had a felony record since he was 18. The issue is he shouldn't have been on the streets. And, it had nothing to do with a military assault weapon and all these fake terms that they come up with, high-capacity magazines, a high-capacity gun. He was using a handgun. He used a rifle. He shot the police. He had a felony record since he was at the age of 18. Why was he out on the streets? You're not going to do anything about these crimes if you're letting the criminals free. A guy that's been committing felonies since he was 18. Now, that's an embarrassment, folks. Anyway, let's do this commercial and we'll get back. Listen, everybody, are you getting frustrated with the trusted conservative sites and magazines turning left? Do you really want to read Bill Kristol in the National Review? Is the Weekly Standard supporting our president enough? I don't think so. Instead, go to thenewamerican.com and get your subscription to the New American Magazine with a 51% discount on your yearly subscription for both the magazine and online. And you can read pro-Trump, truly conservative contributions from our good friend to the show, Alex Newman, Bill Hahn, and so many others. Go to thenewamerican.com. Tell them Freedom on Deck sent you. All right, so great word from the sponsor. Great first topic. We want to get into the second topic with you folks. Let's just talk about it. Let's put it out on the table. Miss Rep. Tlaib Omar, who is a fantastic individual, lover, and Rash Tlaib, which we know is Rashida Tlaib, were barred from entering Israel on Thursday by government officials in direct alignment and backing of Donald Trump. God bless him. Thank you, Mr. President, for getting involved and basically telling Israel, don't let him in. Yep. The decision was supported by Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, who sided with the country's interior minister after he made the initial call to deny the legislators' entry. This is what Mr. Netanyahu said. As a free and vibrant democracy, Israel is open to critics and criticism, with one exception. Israeli law prohibits the entry into Israel of those who call for and work to impose boycotts on Israel.
Makes sense.
Congresswoman Tlaib and Omar are leading activists in promoting the legislation of boycotts against Israel in the American Congress, as we know. He added that the trip revealed that they planned a visit whose sole objective is to strengthen the boycott against us and denies Israel's legitimacy. All right, so, CV, what happened here was they announced last month that they were going to conduct this trip into Israel. Now, what they didn't tell everybody was they were going there as a pro-BDS movement trip. They were going to meet not with the legislators and the lawmakers of Israel, but they were going to meet with the leadership and the top officials of Palestine. They were going in there to stir the pot, to create controversy, and I think they knew that they were going to be denied entry, and I'm happy that President Trump got involved, but I think this was planned by them. This was done in order to enable their continued back-tonguing of the state of Israel. And it's embarrassing that it's even being argued by somebody like Chuckles Schumer, the clown himself, saying that this is unprecedented what the Israeli democracy is doing to United States officials. These are not the average United States officials trying to go into the state of Israel. These are pro-BDS, in my opinion, terrorist funders that are aligned with CARE and many other controversial Muslim groups in the United States of America and Palestine. And CV, Israel made the right decision here. That's right.
And Netanyahu also said that the trip was planned by a Palestinian organization called MIFTAH, M-I-F-T-A-H, that supports BDS, that's boycott, divestment, and sanctions of Israel. And many of its members support terrorism. So he's right on the money to bar them from coming in.
Absolutely.
Another thing I was going to point out is that, when Elon and Omar are supremacists. They are. They think Muslims are better than Jewish people. So they are supremacists. And so when you have a large influx of Muslims coming into this country and a percentage of them are actual extremists who are basically supremacists, doesn't that mean that all Democrats are supremacists because they vote Democrat?
I mean, well, you make a great point. The thing is, we've seen a laundry list of issues coming from both Tlaib's camp and Omar's camp. We've seen Omar getting in front of the leaders of CARE and a CARE-funded speaking engagement, talking about some people did something. Yeah. Muslims need to create fear in America and push back. These controversial things we've seen coming out of the Tlaib camp, where she actually had a map of the Middle East with a Post-it note covering Israel and writing Palestine on the Post-it note. It's pretty clear that both of these women, and they've said it in their Twitter feeds, they've said it in front of groups, they've said it on camera, that they don't agree with Israel's right to exist.
Right.
They give you that false narrative of, oh, it's a two-state solution. How can you have a two-state solution with a group of people that hate you, that say that you're the equivalent of Nazis?
Yeah.
These two women are dangerous, and in my opinion, they should be banned from Israel, and I would say it if I was Mr. Netanyahu, indefinitely, for life, forever. They can never, ever step foot in Israel.
Yeah. And how can they be for a two-state solution? I've never heard them say that, but I'll take your word for it. But they might be saying that publicly. But when you have Omar blocking out Israel and writing Palestine across it, obviously she doesn't want a two-state solution. Obviously she thinks that Jews are inferior and that they don't deserve a right to even have one nation. I think there's something like 56 Islamic nations in the Middle East or around the world. I don't remember how many. But Israel, Jewish people only get one that's like the size of Rhode Island, and they don't even deserve that much apparently, according to them.
Well, the backlash pushback is always, well, they have such a great military and their defense system is better. Yeah, because they're not barbarians.
Right.
They're not throwbacks like you morons are. That's why.
Yep.
Half of you are sleeping with your cousins and your brothers and sisters. And I don't care how bad it sounds over the airwaves.
Yep.
That's your problem. Half of you are cross-eyed.
Yeah.
You believe in some book that talks about killing everybody that doesn't agree with you.
Right.
So, no, they shouldn't be allowed in Israel. And I commend Benjamin Netanyahu and I commend President Trump for pushing forward with this. And don't listen to what those bastards, those self-hating Jew liberals tell you. Don't listen to Chuckles. He's a moron.
He's
pathetic.
He's an embarrassment to our New York State.
And he's not a practicing Jew.
No.
Look at his niece. Look at the stuff she says. Look at her, that comedian, that unfunny Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
And you think that these are practicing Jews? Give me a break.
How many times
It's pathetic.
How many times has Chuck Schumer been on Epstein's Lucifer Isle?
Well, I know he got a lot of money from Epstein.
Yep, probably.
And the paper trail is there, and the DNC. Believe me.
So Chuck Schumer's probably not a practicing Jew. He's probably a practicing Satanist. Yeah, I said it.
That's right, I said it.
I'm smart. Not like they say. I can handle things.
Like dumb. The Shwashim. Oh, you gotta have fun sometimes.
I know.
Go crazy.
Yep.
All right, our new sponsors. Well, they're not new anymore. Over the past year, it's a motorsports team, Midget Motorsports, family-owned, operated NASCAR modified team, based out of East Hampton, New York. That's right around our corner, out on the east end of Long Island. You'll see them full time at Riverhead Raceway on Long Island. Also part-time schedule in the NASCAR Wheelin' Modified Tour. Number 4 is Corey Midget. He's the driver. Entered full-body cars in the Charger division at Riverhead in 2012. Won Rookie of the Year. Won a total of 4 races in 4 years. That's a lot, believe it or not. It's their 4th year in the modified division. Your family, Brian Sr., Michael, Brian Jr., and Corey rely on outside donations. If you're interested in helping this Trump-supporting race team, contact Brian at the number 516-236-8498. That's 516-236-8498. You can also go on FreedomOnDeck.com. Click on the race car. You'll see it right on the side. All profits go to Corey's ability to continue racing. You'll see the Freedom on Deck logo on the car this season in Connecticut and Long Island, along with their Trump sticker and flag. Oh boy, what a show, what a show. Always here with you on your Friday nights, and we appreciate it, folks. We really do. So, I wanted to get into the shooter that took aim at ICE offices in San Antonio. What they came up with, CV, by digging through his social media, which has been wiped out, by the way, now, conveniently.
Yeah.
Is that this individual had Antifa propaganda littered throughout his social media accounts. Same as the scumbag that tried to blow up an ICE detention center. Now, going deeper into this, AOC, known as Miss Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Horseface, the buck-toothed, big-eared goof, went out and put another video out there on her Twitter sphere saying that these are concentration camps. I take nothing back.
Yeah.
It's not my fault that these places are getting shot up or attempting to blow them up. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, you have these ICE officials who are getting doxxed by these Antifa scumbags in the middle of the street filming this shit. And their families, these people are saying, we know where your families are. CV,
yeah.
This has to be addressed. I implore President Trump, designate Antifa as a terrorist organization. And if we have congresswomen or congressmen or reps or mayors like we have here in New York that constantly trash the police, when their rhetoric becomes dangerous enough to incite violence upon our law enforcement officials, be it ICE, be it our military, be it the police, well, they should be thrown out of office. Period. On their ass. End of story. What do you think?
100% correct. I mean, when you want to talk about real Nazis, the Nazis were propaganda artists and specialists, right. And they dehumanized the Jewish people. They said they were subhuman. That's it's exactly like what the Democrat Party and the left-stream media, American Pravda, are doing to Trump supporters and ICE and anybody on the right. By saying that we're Nazis, they are dehumanizing us, and they are saying that it's okay to kill us. Because everybody knows that if you can go back in time and you have an opportunity to kill Hitler before he killed 6 million Jews and 10 million other people, would you kill him if you were able to go back in time? And the answer is, every time it's yes. So what they're doing is they're dehumanizing us, and another term that they use is normalize. They don't want to normalize President Trump. They don't want to normalize conservatives or constitutionalists or anybody on the right. And that's their term. But what it really means is they don't want to humanize us because they want their brown shirts, who are Antifa, and the brown shirts were also Nazis, and Hitler used the brown shirts to as like a grassroots movement to strike terror. There was like a terrorist group, before the actual concentration camps went up. They were like breaking the windows of the Jewish people and harassing them and trying to drive them out, even before World War II officially started. So they're acting like the real Nazis by calling us Nazis, if that makes any sense.
No, I mean, that is absolutely the truth, and we do call them out for their violent rhetoric, and it's Trump supporters and conservatives that are the ones being attacked.
Yeah.
On the streets. The media ignores it. You had Fredo, the son of Shwashim, the other day was on CNN, and the Asian journalist, Andy, I believe his last name was No. Andy No.
Yeah.
He's a gay Asian. He had bricks thrown at his head.
Oh, yeah.
Fredo comes on and he goes, well, Antifa's just battling the Nazis. Excuse me? A gay Asian is a Nazi to you? And we're supposed to feel bad about somebody calling you Fredo? Give me a break. The whole structure in political reality is upside down, CV.
Yeah. And I've heard people say, it's not really good to heckle, people in the media when they're out, on the streets and whatever.
Hannity actually stuck up for him.
Oh, no way. Hannity's don't get me started about Hannity, but it's perfectly good to heckle them. He's calling us Nazis, KKK terrorists every single day. That Chris Fredo Cuomo guy. Every single day. And so do pretty much all the anchors on CNN and MSNBC.
I just thought of a good one. If him and Hannity did a show together, now that Hannity's defending him, they could call it Fredo and Abbott.
No, Hannity would be Costello. See, there's Abbott and
I know, but it's still funny to say, hey, Abbott.
Yeah, because that's what Costello says. He goes, hey, Abbott. So, yeah, but Hannity looks more like Costello. But I can't really make fun of him because I sort of look like Costello sometimes.
No, you look like Hannity sometimes.
Hey! Steady.
All right. Let's do last commercial, and then we'll go to the last topic. Okay. The John Birch Society helped America elect President Reagan in 1980 and President Donald J. Trump in 2016, and they'll help re-elect President Donald J. Trump in 2020. They've rallied the conservative base for over 50 years. Go to jbs.org Join up and receive a good conservative group behind you. JBS has affiliates like the New American Opinion Foundation, Freedom Project Media, Freedom Project Academy. Print membership is $87. Digital membership is only $47. You can't go wrong. Tell them Chet Martin and C.V. Burton and Brian Bro sent you. Oh boy, to end the show, this really gets under my craw, and it has to do with a camel from Harris and old chief raising taxes, Miss Pocahontas herself. So let's get into it. Senator Camel Toad Harris from California put out a tweet on August 9th, and this is her tweet. This is disgusting. Michael Brown's murder forever changed Ferguson and America. His tragic death sparked a desperately needed conversation and a nationwide movement. We must fight for stronger accountability and racial equality in our justice system. Senator Pocahontas Elizabeth Warren, chief raising taxes, also tweeted on August 9th, 5 years ago, Michael Brown was murdered by a white police officer in Ferguson, Missouri. Michael was unarmed, yet he was shot 6 times. I stand with activists and organizations who continue to fight for justice when it comes to Michael. We must confront systemic racism and police violence head on. All right. First of all, you two knuckleheads, you should be called out for this. Officer Darren Wilson was attacked by an 18-year-old, 6'4", 280-pound Mike Brown. He was grabbed inside his squad car. This is according to Obama's DOJ.
Yeah.
Obama's DOJ came up with the evidence that Mike Brown not only assaulted Officer Wilson, he attempted to take his gun.
Yep.
The way they came up with this evidence was accounts of the local neighborhood people. And also the forensic evidence of the bullets that went into Mike Brown, which showed that he was not turned away from Officer Wilson, but he was coming towards Officer Wilson.
Yep.
Also, the forensic evidence came up with the findings that Mike Brown didn't have his hands up. He wasn't saying don't shoot. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional here.
Yeah.
My grandfather was a police officer.
I know.
He wasn't saying don't shoot. He was grabbing his gun. He deserved to get shot. And that punk that was with him, that punk that said, oh, he was just minding his own business. Well, here's the other part of the whole situation. The initial call that Darren Wilson got was from a bodega where Mike Brown went in there and got a pack of Tipperellas. How did he get that pack? He took them. He strong-armed the owner. It's on video.
Yep.
Him and his punk friend. And then a call came in to Officer Darren Wilson to go check out the scene. He came upon Mike Brown and his punk friend, and then chaos ensued.
Yeah.
Officer Wilson's life was changed forever. For these two creatures to paint this situation in the way that they did, CV, is abhorrent, it's disgusting, and they should never, ever, ever be president of the United States.
Yep. And they are total dividers of our country. They are not uniters. They are dividers. Just like Obama was a divider by saying that the police have systemic racism and all this. And what they're doing with this case is what they did with Charlottesville. It's what they did with everything else. You know, they try to blow it out of proportion. They try to twist things around. The only reason why that guy was unarmed was because he wasn't able to wrest the gun from the officer's holster or hand. and he was charging right at him. He was running towards him. I guess they had a little bit of a wrestling thing. The officer got out of the car. He was a little bit.
No, it wasn't a wrestling thing. It wasn't a wrestling thing. He punched Officer Wilson 3 times square in the jaw.
No, I mean he was trying to wrestle his gun out of his hand.
Yeah, he was trying to get his gun from him. Absolutely.
Right. And then somehow there was a little bit of distance between them, and Mike Brown charged towards the officer, running towards him, and he said, "Stop, stop," and he wouldn't stop, and so he had to shoot him.
And Ferguson went up in flames.
Oh yeah, and
Ferguson
Obama
was
said,
brought
"Give them
to its knees."
And Obama said, "Give the protesters room to destroy," and he said that to the mayor, and the mayor repeated.
That was Baltimore.
Oh yeah,
that was Baltimore.
Well, same situation.
That happened a few months after, and it was that was a different situation. The thing is here.
But didn't they destroy Ferguson also at night? Weren't there like protests in Ferguson also?
Of course.
Where they were burning buildings
they did.
and stuff?
They burnt it to the ground.
Yeah, because
they're still recovering.
Because Obama told the mayor there to tell the police to stand down. Barack Obama was the stand down president. He's always saying stand down. In Benghazi, stand down. So Christopher Stevens could
let our people
3 other
die.
people would be murdered. Yeah. So he's always saying
let
stand
our
down.
military, let our police die. And the thing was, what's happening now is because it's a 5-year anniversary. The father of Mike Brown, who, by the way, is a scumbag, is asking them to reinvestigate the case, this, that, and the other. And these politicians are trying to ride the coattails of something that's already been proven. Let me read this to you guys just so you understand. This is coming from the Washington Post. Listen carefully. In November 2014, a grand jury decided not to indict Wilson after findings that witness reports did not match with evidence. On March 4th of 2015, the Obama administration's Justice Department issued an 86-page investigative report based on testimony from 40 witnesses and review of forensic evidence on the shooting that concluded there is no credible evidence that Wilson willfully shot Brown as he was attempting to surrender or was otherwise not posing a threat.
Yeah.
Right there from the Washington Compost. Even the Compost has to put out the truth. Now, I want Elizabeth Warren and Camel Toe Harris to issue an apology to the police officers in Missouri and an apology to the police officers throughout the United States of America.
But
those women,
they never will.
Those women constantly travel around with bodyguards, with armed guards. They are protected 9 to 5 by the police, and they should not spit in the face of those that protect them.
Yeah. And Warren wanted to introduce legislation that would make it more difficult for gun owners to own guns, and it would pretty much bankrupt them and make it impossible for them to own guns. I would like to see if she could raise taxes on her security detail, and force them financially to lose their guns.
It's always a double standard with these Democrats, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's unreal. I mean, they get to drive around with security detail 9 to 5, and they say, oh, well, they have long guns, and they have the terminology. They don't even know how to discuss gun issues because they don't know the issue.
Yeah.
You got Biden out there spouting off that he was the vice president during the Parkland shooting.
No, he's senile. No, it's obvious he's
a moron.
It's obvious that he's totally senile. He does not have his mental faculties in order.
He's like, oh, when I saw the victims when I was vice president, like, my God, man, do you know who you are?
No.
Like, seriously, I'm not trying to bitch slap the guy because he's old.
Yeah.
He's just senile. Please let him win the nomination.
Because
he will totally fold.
The Epic Times are predicting that Kamala Harris will be the nominee. They're boldly predicting it, and they give a list of reasons why. I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out
All
there.
right.
I read the. I mean,
if they were smart, they would elect Kelsey Gabbard.
Yeah, but you know what? Tulsi Gabbard co-sponsored.
Sorry, Tulsi.
Oh, sorry,
whatever it is.
Tulsi. She co-sponsored the BDS bill. You know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, boycotting and divestment and sanctions against Israel. She co-authored that. So she's
Really?
So she's anti-Israel.
No, I'm not saying I like her.
I
was just saying I thought she was like the most centrist of them
I know.
all,
I was disappointed.
That changes things.
I liked her as a Democrat. I'll never vote for a Democrat, but she is still the best one that they have. But
don't they all hate Israel? Don't they all? I mean, they all hate Israel.
Yeah,
Which one of them ever stands up for Israel? Who?
Not a one.
Not a one. They used to.
Yeah.
I remember even back in the 90s, Bill Clinton would talk about, there's fringe groups out there that in the left side of the aisle that don't support Israel, but in general, we will always support Israel. Even Obama said it when he was in. It was, we knew he was lying through his teeth.
Yeah.
But there's nobody over there anymore that supports Israel.
Yeah. Obama hated Israel. He hated Netanyahu. John Kerry called them cowards. He thought he was on a hot mic. We didn't realize it.
Oh, yeah. Candleface hated Israel.
Yep.
Old Candleface Kerry.
Yep.
Fucking Mr. Talk Salad himself.
Yeah, exactly.
The flip-flopper.
That's why he and Obama financed Iran with billions of our dollars, because they want to fund terrorism against Israel. That's what it is.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to end this episode of F.O.D. Overdrive, and just remember to come on by Sunday, 3 to 5. The way you do that, it's 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on FreedomOnDeck.com. If you're not in the local area, which is Long Island, Eastern Connecticut, Southeastern Rhode Island, if you're in any of those areas, you can listen on 94.9 right on the FM dial. But if you're not, go to FreedomOnDeck.com, click Listen Live, and you can hear us. And it's going to be a fantastic show. We got some fantastic guests. And as always, great topics. CV, I'll see you on Sunday, buddy.
All right, I'll be there or I'll be square.
Cheers.
Friday night we'll be drinking Manischewitz, going out to terrorize Goyam. Stomping shaking, screwing chicks as long as we're home by Saturday morning.